Hello Aquarius, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and today I'm going to be doing your June 2022 mid-monthly check-in reading for you. So let's see what's going on for the sign of Aquarius. If you're new to my channel, what I like to do is I like to pull one major arcana to see the energy and then clarify it with a different deck. Sorry if you can hear my peacocks out there, they've been screaming all night. They're okay, they're just having a ball, I guess. So what is going on for Aquarius? We have the Justice card, so Libra energy, one of your fellow air signs. So this is you bringing about logic and clarity to a situation, okay? You are balancing out the pros and cons. Now, it's important to understand with the Aquarian intellect, you cannot always be too logical. There has to be an element of fantasy, all right? Think about the High Priestess, for example. The High Priestess sits at the balance of yin and yang. So masculine and feminine, and that's also what Justice rules, is kind of balancing out that situation. If you really want to be a logical person, you kind of have to go into that fantastic realm, that fantasy realm, to bring it into reality. Because once again, I'm going to bring up this topic that magic is unexplained technology. You're pulling something from your fantasy realm and then bringing it into reality. Kind of like people have always said, well, I want to fly. Well, people had to study how to fly. There's the Bernoulli's principle. Then you have to understand like trajectory. You have to understand speed. So there's a whole lot that goes into the element of flying. Or for example, creating fire or whatever within your life. So this is you having to understand that you have to balance out kind of like that fantastical realm with the reality realm. So what do we need to know for Aquarius? What is being balanced out for you? One more shuffle. Okay, this deck does have reversals. I'm using the Revelations Tarot if anyone is interested. So we have the Strength card, we have the Star, and we have the Three of Wands. So this is very funny energy for you to have, Aquarius, because with the Strength energy, this is Leo. And then with the Star, this is your energy. The Three of Wands represents failed communication right here. With the Strength and the Star, this is saying that you have to be grounded within reality, but you can't be afraid to look at the stars. You can't be afraid to peer off into the distance, because Leo and Aquarius sit at the opposite ends of the wheel like this. And so they're polar opposites. So Leo rules the ego, and then Aquarius rules like humanitarian side of things. But at the end of the day, Aquarius, you do have to be a balanced person. You have to take care of your physical body if you ever want to reach the stars, right? You have to live in reality in order to attain enlightenment. So with this Three of Wands, this is you sending out fruitless communication, and it's probably because you lack balance between the ego and the higher self. And I kind of feel like that's something that Aquarians struggle with a lot of the time, is that Aquarians can be too smart for their own good, so therefore they tend to be more egotistical. But when you become egotistical, you're going from your polar opposite energy of Leo instead of staying within your energy. Your energy is saying that you are a very intelligent person. Most Aquarians are. They tend to go after studying the principles of things, studying psychology, studying, out there in space, whatever they are, astronomers or astrophysicists. Aquarians generally tend to go after those, weird sciences that are very complicated to understand. However, you can't be overbearing with your knowledge. You can't just call everyone an idiot and then continue to move forward, because that is not the point of Aquarius. It is to enlighten people. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is this mass enlightenment. So all of this technology, all of these advancements in sciences. So what I'm seeing with this Three of Wands is that you have failed communication because you do not have balance between the Strength and the Star right here. So let me get this deck. What is this Strength energy? What do you need to know about this Strength energy? You have the Four of Swords, and you have the Page of Cups. Here's the thing, Aquarius. It's okay to take a break, all right? I feel like a lot of times Aquarians tend to run themselves ragged because you are the humanitarian. And masculine signs, because Aquarius is a masculine sign, generally tend to do things for other people, right? But ultimately, you do have to give your body a rest. Otherwise, your strength will fail. The Four of Swords represents going to sleep or being at peace from a situation, recovering from something. So this can represent recovery from illness, recovery from war, recovery from something. Mental recovery. With this Page of Wands, it's saying that, it needs to be filled up from time to time. The Page of Cups is going out there to have his cup filled up, blessed by the universe. But at the same time, he needs to receive the blessings of the universe. He needs to go into this Four of Swords energy. Otherwise, your body will fall apart. So getting the proper strength and getting the proper care right here. What is this star energy? The Ace of Swords and that Six of Wands. So the Ace of Swords is the superior intellect of the air signs. So I kind of feel like right here is that you might receive some sort of interesting information from a dream. You might be inspired through a dream right here. Because the Four of Swords can also represent like a dreamy phase with the Page of Cups. This represents going to sleep and maybe tapping into like that emotional realm. So with this Ace of Swords, it's saying you receive information and you are inspired. The Six of Wands is also Leonian energy. So Leo energy, right? And the Six of Wands represents having a victory. So what I'm seeing for you right now, Aquarius, is rest is very key. And I feel like through rest, you're going to discover some sort of divine inspiration. This could be taking a vacation. This could be just actually going to sleep on time, having a proper sleep schedule. What is this Three of Wands in reverse? You have the Justice coming out again and the Ace of Wands. The problem for you, Aquarius, is you are trying to do too many things at once, because the Ace of Wands represents the male genitals. It represents a new opportunity, right? And it also represents exertion and force, because if you look at it, it kind of represents, the male genitals during that climax energy. So what I'm seeing for you is that you need to have balance between peace and that energy. And that's why you're going around in circles, and that's why your communication is blocked right here, because you are not physically taking care of yourself. You have to have balance, Aquarius, between your physical self and your mental self, all right? Aquarians will generally run themselves ragged to do things for other people. However, you have to take time for yourself. You have to sleep. You cannot get too angry, because that is where you can be too sharp with your tongue. And I kind of feel like maybe you're going into this very egotistical stage because you are overworked and you are overtaxed. So let's look at this star energy with this Ace of Swords and the Six of Wands. So you're being inspired right here, but the inspiration comes from having balance. The Two of Pentacles, yeah, this represents balance as well. This is duality. So it represents the balance of infinity right here. The Two of Pentacles can also represent money. It is also represented by yin and yang energy as well, because the card is a feminine card, but it has a man on it holding the balance, right? And this is odd to say right here, but during peak Leo season, which is August, you might receive some sort of clarity, because the 8 is also infinity turned sideways, right? So the 8th month. That could be a change within your life right here. But I do see that you need to balance out between the physical along with the emotional state, because the emotional state can be represented by this watery and these ships in the background. So it is saying, Aquarius, you do need to tap into your emotional realm. Maybe you need to have a, what's the word? I don't want to say cry, because I know Aquarians are going to like roll their eyes. Be tapped more into your emotional side, the end. Maybe that's something you're blocked off to with this Page of Cups. You tend not to be an emotional person. So what is going on for Aquarius? What else do we need to know? The Queen of Cups. Yeah, balancing out with this Queen of Cups energy, you have to be approachable, Aquarius. Otherwise, people are not going to like you. Okay? So what I'm seeing right here is that you're having a problem with being approachable, but you need to get more rest. When you are well rested, Aquarius, then you are more easy to deal with as a human being. The Queen of Cups represents this motherly Cancerian energy. It also represents outer space. People going to the Queen of Cups and she responding to them in a more motherly manner. Now, here's the thing. Since Aquarius is the grand astrologer of the zodiac, it can also be represented as the divine father. So fathers don't always have to be, egotistical people closed off to their emotions, right? They can be generally pretty nurturing people, and that's what I'm seeing with this Queen of Cups right here, is that you do have to be nurturing to people who just have less intellect, even if people tend to annoy you. What else is going on for Aquarius? We have the Devil, the Two of Wands, and the Five of Swords. Here's the problem, Aquarius. So we have the Capricorn energy coming out with the devil. This represents being bound to certain addictions right here, being bound to chains. Let me back that up. The chains of bondage have you, okay? Because if you can see right here, this is the perverse energy of the lovers. So Adam and Eve are sitting underneath the devil and they're chained to him, right? The devil can also represent contracts, but at the same time with this Two of Wands, this is saying that you are using stimulants to potentially move yourself forward within your life. So it could be coffee, it could be, you know, other types of stimulants. You're not giving your body the well-needed rest that it deserves. And because of that, you're going into your base energy, Aquarius. Your base energy is the Five of Swords. Backstabbing, backbiting, being generally rude to people, okay? So what I'm seeing right here is that you do need to cut out whatever this stimulation is to continue to move forward with this Two of Wands, all right? So cutting out an addiction within your life, just living healthier, being more well-rested. Let me clarify this, devil. One more card for that. The Eight of Cups. Yeah, walking away from a situation. You're building something stable right here, but at the same time, you have to understand when it's becoming too much of a burden, you have to walk away from it. It doesn't always have to be permanently. You can come back to the situation and continue to rebuild. However, you cannot have this addiction right here. This could be drinking. This could be whatever in your life. But I'm seeing that it's actually taking more of a mental taxation on you than anything else. So whatever you're doing right here that has you addicted, it could be playing video games and not getting enough sleep. It could be drinking and not getting enough sleep. Whatever the situation is, it's not leaving you well rested, all right? So let's look at this Justice energy with this Ace of Wands. We have the Seven of Swords. One more card. This is robbing Peter to pay Paul, okay? You're robbing from your future life. Whatever you're doing right here to continue to advance yourself, to continue to run away from this Knight of Cups energy, which is being, you know, apologetic, being blessed by the universe, say, within the emotional realm. Whatever you're doing to run away, to not have to deal with your emotions right here, it's going to really screw you over in the future, all right? And you have to have that balance. So it's kind of like, you know, how people say they're in school for, you know, 4 years. And during these 4 years, they're drinking a bunch of monsters and they're drinking all these things to keep themselves awake, right? Well, you'll pay for that later on. That's just general, right? But imagine a doctor doing that. Someone who has to have a lot of intellect. And generally, doctors go to school for, what, 8 to 10 years? So you've done that double than the average student, right? That will definitely take a toll on you in the future. So robbing from Peter to pay Paul. You are taking away from your future life, your future existence, to have life within this current reality. You need to bring balance within your life right here. You need to go into this emotional realm. If you feel like you need to sleep, go to sleep. If you feel like, you know, you want to argue with people, don't do it. Walk away from the situation. And you just might be a very argumentative person with this devil, okay? Maybe that's something that you are just in general. You go into your base Aquarian energy a lot instead of just walking away from situations that don't really concern you. Aquarians generally tend to be right about certain situations. However, why waste your breath on people who are just not at that justice level, okay? Eventually, things will be clear in the future, right? Aquarians tend to be also the conspiracy theorists of the zodiac. It's just something that Aquarians are known for. If you see like memes of Aquarian energy, they're always like wearing tinfoil hats. But here's the thing, Aquarians tend to be right. Eventually in the future, people will find out. Don't waste your breath on people who are just going to be stuck. And no matter what you tell them, they're always going to be stuck, okay? That's the situation for you. So let's look at your spellcasting oracles. So people are pissing you off. Got that. Get some rest. You're going to have victory. You're going to have a brand new idea. You're going to have victory from this situation. It will balance out, okay? Don't try to rush your life. That's what a lot of people tend to do, is they try to rush things along. But here's the problem with doing that. When you rush things, you ultimately screw them up in the end, okay? So let me get you a couple of spellcasting oracles. you have new beginnings, and you have prosperity. So with this new beginnings energy, this could be you just finally deciding to make that change within your life. Hey, I'm going to start eating better. I'm going to get more sleep. I'm going to take better care of my body, better care of the things that are around me. I don't want to act from my base Aquarian energy. I want to cut out my addictions. I want to have victory. I want to see the star. And by seeing the star, this is not going into your ego energy. This is taking care of your physical body, okay? Because without the physical body, how are you going to reach Mars? Without your physical body, how are you going to see the stars? Like, that's the situation. Without your physical body, you're going to be dead, Aquarius. And so that's what the cards are telling you. Stop robbing from Peter to pay Paul. You will have prosperity. It just takes time. Walk away from these things that are hard to walk away from, that have you chained and bound right here. So let me get you a couple of awakened cards. So victory coming out for you. You have light as matter, and you have sea star. This is funny right here that we just talked about this with this light as matter energy, because light as matter is Leonian energy, right? Light. That's what Leo is ruled by, the sun. So the sun as a physical being, which is you, because you have this energy, right? Now with the sea star, this represents regeneration. So regenerating your body right here, regenerating yourself. Let me get you a couple of Witch's Familiar Oracle cards. So this is all a time period of regeneration. Taking things a little bit more slowly. Maybe you're feeling like very rushed right now. This could be taking just a couple of days vacation. This could be you just saying, hey, this day is for me. I'm taking one day off. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to, drink water, whatever you have to do. A lot of cup energy has come out, so I suggest drinking a lot of water. You have ferocity with the boar, and you have horse, transcendence. So this ferocity energy could be that Five of Swords, but you have to see things from a higher perspective, okay? Your boar energy is that you want to lash out and say something. With this transcendence energy is seeing things from a higher perspective, being more balanced with the Libra scales, all right? Because here's the thing, Aquarius. You have to understand that one of the cards just zoomed by. A lot of tarot cards are based off of old gods and goddesses, right? And a lot of these old gods and goddesses are represented in our everyday society, Masonic culture, different cultures, right? For example, the Justice card is Themis, the goddess of karmic law. However, she had a daughter, Daiki, which is the human law conception, right? So we have karmic law and we have human law. You will always see the scales of justice on attorney buildings, on courthouses, wherever. It was an idea. It was a Greek philosophy, okay? So that's what I'm seeing for you right now, Aquarius, is that you have to see things from a higher perspective. I mean, even on, I talked about this before in a different reading, state-run mental hospitals, they'll usually have the word psi on it, and then epsilon. So psi is a Greek letter for psychology, or is a Greek letter. Psi is just a Greek letter, but then it stems into other words like psychology, psychosis, whatever. And then epsilon is represented by the window, so psychology window, right? So peering into people's minds. You tend to be enlightened about these things, but focus more on that. Focus more on the symbolism of things behind them. If people can't see that, then they're not worth your time, all right? You need to be dealing with people who can see those things. Okay, Aquarius, don't waste your time with people who don't want to see the things that are right in front of them, because most of the times people are just going to be like, oh, it's just scales. Well, it can be Themis. It could be representation of Anubis weighing the heart with the feather. Okay, it has a lot more deeper spiritual meanings to things. And I feel like that's something that you know. Maybe that's something that you want to talk about, but you don't have anyone to do it with. Find people that you can talk about these concepts with, all right? So let me get you a couple of Halloween oracles. We have Ancestors, Love and Legacy in our DNA. I'm going to get you one more because I don't really like that card. And it came out in Capricorn's reading. We have Dawn, Light After the Darkness. So definitely pay attention to your DNA right here, okay? So regeneration, take your vitamins. See what you're, for example, this is something that's really important right here, Aquarius. A lot of us tend to be removed from our countries of origin, right? So for example, my family is from a different country. However, if I try to drink water that is not formulated like that country, it dehydrates me. I have to pee a lot, right? However, when I drink more island type water, it actually hydrates me. And so that's something that you need to pay attention to right there, Aquarius, is that maybe you need to be looking at your DNA, your ancestors' DNA, and maybe start eating those types of foods. Maybe start drinking that type of water. Start paying attention to your DNA, because not everything is going to be catered to you on different parts of the world. For example, if you are from South Africa, but you live in New York, two different types of diets, especially if your family's been there for, hundreds of years. Two different types of diets. It's not going to go well for you, right? Could be that your family is from like Sweden, I don't know, and then you're living in California. Two different diets, two different types of waters, two different things. So maybe that's something that's your problem, is that you need to focus on what your family was, right? And where your family's from. And then try to incorporate that into your diet. Maybe that's what's making you sick right there. I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just saying that it helped me. It did. So with this light after the darkness, this is representation of seeing the sunlight, not being in that dark energy anymore. Once you finally do the recovery phase, this can also represent, going through like the dark night of the soul. And when I talk about dark night of the soul, it represents deep recovery. So this is you waking up from that right there. So pay attention to your ancestors and what they did, and then pay attention to, the light. Waking up from certain situations, having that transcended moment. So what is going on with the Halloween oracles? Oh, wait. It's telling me to pull one more. Okay, so I'll pull you one more. I've already pulled all the cards. Oh, I didn't pull you rune cards. That's what I meant to pick. Money, change. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for you, is that you are changing, you are transforming. Now, this can also represent going from one state to a different state, okay? And this can represent going from life to death, or from death to life, right? So the mummy doesn't mean staying stagnant. It represents going on to different phases within your life. So that could be that transcendence energy, waking up from this darkness energy, moving forward. Pay attention to what your ancestors did. Maybe that's something that you need to do, is that you have to go back home to where your ancestors are from to have proper healing, proper recovery, proper water, proper nourishment. People's bodies are not, even if they were born in one state or one place within the world, if their family's from somewhere on the opposite side of the globe, their body's probably not going to be acclimated to this situation right here, okay? Because you carry the DNA from over there. So maybe you need to go home for a little bit, whatever. Maybe you need to pay attention to your DNA, get one of those, DNA test kits, not ones from Google, like, actual ones, and see what you are. We have Sawilu, which is sun, vitality, good health, good fortune, and happiness. Spiritual meaning is blessings and wholeness. Here's the thing, though. You pulled your energy, the star, right? And now we're pulling the sun. So the sun is representation of Leo energy, because you have your physical representations, then you have the astrological representation. So your physical representation of you, Aquarius, is the magician, okay? So the magician is a grand astrologer. So obviously, what would he be in charge of? He'd be in charge of the stars, right? However, the stars and the sun are different, because our sun is just the closest one that we have. But there are millions and billions of other stars out there, right? So our sun is a star. So what you're doing right here is you have to understand that there is that balance between the scales right there. There is that balance between Leo and Aquarius, having to take care of one element of yourself in order to see the rest of the universe. So having that perfect balance, taking care of your physical body right here. But good things are coming for you, because you do have the Six of Wands, which is one of the happiest cards of the deck. The Sun is the happiest card of the tarot deck, even though this is a rune card. So it's actually funny that this came out. And then the Six of Wands, this is one of the other happier cards of the deck. This represents victory in a situation. So we have algas, protection, courage, help from others, and good decision making. So I feel like you're protected during this time period. Naturally, Aquarians are courageous people. Accept help from other people. I feel like that could be very beneficial for you, even if you don't want to take their advice 100%. Try to balance it within your life somehow. Good decision making. You know, getting that rest, taking care of your physical self so that way you can move forward within your life. So anyway, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.